Tonight on Y News. Malacañang says President Rodrigo Duterte was misinterpreted when he issued his statement on granting Chinese fishers access in the Philippines' exclusive economic zone in the West Philippine Sea. A scientist proposes declaring Laguna Lake as one of Metro Manila's water supply sources amid depleting Angat Dam water supply. The Department of Transportation targets to complete Sangli Airport construction by September. The Department of Transportation sets to offer regular free train rides to students starting in July. And South Korean superstar couples Song Hye-kyo and Song Joong-ki are reported to be getting a divorce. Good evening. President Rodrigo Duterte and Malacañang clarified the issue on whether the government allows China or not to fish in our exclusive economic zone. Rosalie Cos reports why.
The president's statement has been misinterpreted, and it does not mean that the government is allowing China to fish within the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone, or EEZ. This is what presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said when he clarified President Rodrigo Duterte's statement on whether Chinese fishing is permitted in our EEZ. He argues that China does not need to prohibit its fishermen because it has already banned them from going to our EEZ because of its friendship with the Philippines.
Hindi gagawin ng China na pumasok doon. So in other words, sasagot niya ron, it is not necessary to prevent them from fishing because they will not do that. In other words, why should I prevent somebody to do something when he is not going to do that?
The palace also challenges those who want to file impeachment complaints against President Duterte over the issue.
Kung naniniwala sila na may ginawa siyang impeachable ground, pwede mag-file, di ba? But you cannot stop the president from doing measures, steps that to his mind is the correct way to obey the constitutional command to him to protect and to serve the Filipino people.
It can be noted that Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Carpio has stated that allowing Chinese fishing in our EEZ is against the Constitution. President Duterte hit Justice Carpio during his speech for the 122nd anniversary of the Philippine Security Group or PSG in Malacañang last night.
Itong mga Justice Carpio, sabi ko nga, alam mo Justice Carpio, napaka-estupido mo. Alam mo, gusto talaga nila ng gulo. Kasi sabi ko, tanong sila, will you allow the Chinese to fish? Of course. Yan ang pinag-usapan namin noon, kaya tayo nag-uusap eh. And that was we were allowed to fish again. It was a mutual agreement.
It was last Monday night when President Duterte said that China cannot be banned from fishing within our EEZ because of our friendship. The chief executive emphasized the country does not have enough force to ban Chinese fishing within the zone.
Ngayon sabi nila, you have to ban China. I-prohibit mo. Kung i-prohibit ko, how do I enforce my desire? Takot nga ang Amerika, ayaw nga mag-confront, tapos ako pa ang ipusta nila. Gusto talaga nilang mapasubo ako. So gusto nila pumunta ako doon, dalhin ko yung mga... Kasi bakit gira lang ano? Talagang gira yan. Pag pinuntahan mo doon, alang-alang magdala ako ng Bureau of Fisheries ng 2 bangka.
The president also challenged other countries to control China from claiming the disputed territories in the South China Sea.
Ito ang hamon ko. Ang hamon ko sa Amerika, Britain, France, mag-assemble tayo dito sa Palawan. Tapos diretso na tayo. Doon sa Spratly, agawin na natin kung maagaw natin. Kung maubos tayo lahat, sabi nila, Duterte is not protecting the interests of the Filipino. God, you want me to put the lives of 110 million Filipinos by going into trouble?
Rosalie Coz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacañang.
Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio believes that the recent rant of the president against him is not worth a comment. For a law dean, verbal clashes between top officials should not be a norm. Harleen Delgado explains why.
Ang problema nito ngayon, itong mga Justice Carpio, sabi ko nga, alam mo, Justice Carpio, napaka-ist mo. That is why hanggang dyan ka lang talaga. It's from Davao. Bata noon pa hindi ako believe dyan na yan.
This was the recent tirade of President Rodrigo Duterte against Supreme Court Senior Chief Justice Antonio Carpio. This was after Carpio stressed that the government stands to allow Chinese fishing within the country's exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, is unconstitutional. For Justice Carpio, the president's rant is not worth a comment. Days before this, Vice President Leni Robredo was the target of Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin's tweet calling her boba or stupid after slamming the Department of Foreign Affairs' decision to cancel the diplomatic passports of former officials. Locsin has already apologized to Robredo over the matter. But for Senator Kiko Pangilinan, Teodoro's act is a violation of Republic Act 6713, or the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. For their part, the Civil Service Commission, or CSC, stresses that the law covers all public officials and employees. CSC Commissioner Eileen Lizada clarifies that the president is outside their jurisdiction, while all presidential appointees, such as cabinet members, are under the disciplining authority of the appointing authority. However, Attorney George Garcia, Dean of College of Law of Pamantasan ng Lungsod na Maynila, believes there was no definite provision in the Code of Conduct law that strongly proves the alleged violation. Section B, or the Norms of Conduct of Public Officials and Employees, mandates every public official and employee to observe professionalism with the highest degree of excellence, intelligence, and skill.
Perhaps the law and the courts will judge them based on these actuations and let them file the proper case. Ayoko muna siyang i-judge ngayon kung siya ba ay may violation ng ethical standard.
For Attorney Garcia, this kind of verbal tirade should not be tolerated by high-ranking officials. The lawyer believes this may have an impact on the listening public, especially on the youth.
Madami kasi nanonood, madaming nakakakita, mga bata, baka akala that's the normal thing to do, especially when you are the president. So, siyempre, tinuturuan natin ng good moral and right conduct yung ating mga kabataan. Baka akala nila, lalo yung mga chikiting, okay lang yung mga ganon.
Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Department of Health wants the public to be cautious of diseases acquired from contaminated water. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
Many Maynilad and Manila water customers rely on water rationing because of the implemented water service interruptions. Their top priority or move is to store water as long as water drips from their household faucets. But the Department of Health, or DOH, warns the public to be cautious of both rationed and stored water. The DOH explains there is a huge possibility that bacteria may breed in uncovered water containers or those which are not thoroughly cleaned. And when the water flows in pipelines, they may get contaminated.
Lalong-lalo na kung ang ating mga pipes ay may leak. Diba kung may leak, yung mga organism na galing sa surroundings, kadumi ang water, sa soil, pwedeng malagay, mapasok doon sa tubo kasi may leak. Siyempre, darating ang tubig, dadaan doon. At least tayong mga household na mga consumers ng water ang siyang maapektuhan.
Diarrhea, cholera, hepatitis A, and typhoid fever are the common water-borne diseases. Vomiting, loose bowel movement or LBM, and the worst, dehydration, may be experienced due to these illnesses. This is why the DOH advises the public to always have clean water containers and maintain a clean environment. These illnesses can be avoided when hand washing is always practiced, especially the young ones. When in doubt of the water's purity, it is a must to boil it.
Usual na pakuluan ang tubig na lumalabas. Pero ang pagpakulo hindi yung pag pinakulo mo na, kumulo na, papatay mo na, hindi. 10 minutes after.
Alright.
After the boiling. Then, there's also the use of aqua tabs or the chlorine tabs. Diba? Na pwedeng hingin sa mga health center kasi namimigay ang DOH niyan. At the same time, yung mga local government units, bumibili rin naman sila.
Make sure to always cover water containers so dengue virus-carrying mosquitoes will not breed in the water. Water can also be filtered using a piece of cloth. As for infants, it is better to breastfeed them to strengthen their immune system.
We really promote exclusive breastfeeding kasi sa breastfeeding, you get the most nutritious of the nutritious food, diba? The very essential nutrients ay nandoon to help you combat infection.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
As water shortage has been frequent nowadays due to the low water levels in water reservoirs from which Metro Manila sources its water, a Filipino scientist suggests that the Laguna Lake may be another possible source of water supply. June Soriao explains why.
The Philippines cannot be considered lacking in water. In fact, the country receives 965 to 4,064 millimeters of rainfall each year. Not to mention our natural water resources like rivers, lakes, and underground water. But for quite many weeks now, Metro Manila residents have been complaining over water shortage, while several have given their suggestions and opinions on how to resolve the water supply crisis. According to Dr. Rafael Guerrero III, who is recognized for his pioneering work in fishery and experience in enforcing programs in water resources management, he wants the government to declare Laguna de Bae as Metro Manila's additional water supply source.
Meron ng mga panukala at mga nagpo-propose sa private sector, no? Na gawing source of water supply ng Metro Manila ang Laguna de Bae. Ito ay 90,000 hectares, may average depth na 2.5. At ito ay ang catch basin ng lahat ng mga dumadaloy sa watershed dito sa paligid.
The scientist adds that it is cheaper to build additional water treatment facilities than to rehabilitate or construct new dams.
Kung gagawa pa sila ng treatment plant sa Laguna de Bae, mga 2-4 pa, natutugunan yung supply in 2 years. Kaysa gumawa ka ng bagong construction na magastos, utang ka pa.
Meanwhile, according to Adelina Borja of the Resources Management and Development Department of the Laguna Lake Development Authority or LLDA, there have been studies and preparations to make Laguna Lake, the largest lake in the Philippines, a domestic water supply source of Metro Manila since the 1970s. These include the construction of the Napindan hydraulic control structure to prevent water from the Manila Bay from flowing into the lake. But these had been rejected by the fisheries sector because of the possible effects on ecology and on the fishes in the lake. Fisher folks say they are not against Dr. Guerrero's proposal, but they argue that their livelihood and the need for water of Metro Manila residents must be balanced.
Hindi naman sinasabing hindi pwedeng ideklara. Kaya nga, in the light of the water crisis, kung ano magiging direktiba ng ating pamahalaan, ay siyempre susunod ang LLDA dun sa direktiba. Pero ang sinasabi nga naman, pwede namang mag-coexist siya na ginagamit mo siya pang inom, at the same time, pwede tayong mangisda.
Guerrero, on the other hand, insists that it is high time to prioritize domestic supply since there are bodies of water from where to fish other than Laguna Lake.
Sa palagay ko ay mas dapat bigyan ng priority yung water supply for domestic use. Kamukha sa Angat Dam, no? Ang priority dyan ay talagang domestic supply at sunod lamang yung irrigation water.
The LLDA reveals water concessionaires have filed their applications to build treatment facilities.
Nung ang Maynila ay nag-apply sa amin for a 300 million liters per day na obstruction. Through the use of some models, pinumpute namin, gaano ba ang magiging baba ng tubig. So, lumalabas na mga kalahating sentimetro lang, 0.5 centimeter ang ibababa, which is really not that significant. And then, ang projection is, again, these are estimates based on model na for every 100 million liters per day, kalahating sentimetro ang ibababa ng tubig.
According to Dr. Guerrero, one of the challenges it will be facing is the pollution in the area. One great example is the algae bloom caused by domestic waste. Dr. Guerrero adds it will be beneficial if a water treatment plant is built on the east bay of the Laguna Lake since the portion is less likely polluted. Unlike Maynilad's Putatan Water Treatment Facility in Muntinlupa, which was affected by an algal bloom last month. For their part, the LLDA calls on the communities near the Laguna de Bae to protect and care for the largest freshwater lake in the country. Jun Suriao, UNTV, News and Rescue.
The Department of Transportation wants to get the construction of Sangli Airport done sooner than when the president expects it. Joanano tells us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered the completion of the project by November this year. This is why Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade is fast-tracking the construction of Sangli Airport in Cavite City. However, Secretary Tugade wants it done as early as September. And to attain this, the contractor has hired additional manpower to work on the project around the clock.
Sabi ng Pangulo, November, di habulin natin ang November. And knowing me, sa tingin mo, ano deadline ka?
September.
Kita mo, September. No, you know me. Pinapa-advance ko.
Based on the Transportation Department's report, the contractor has finished the laying of asphalt on the airport runway, while the improvement of the drainage system is 70% complete. The passenger terminal building is 40% done, while the hangar is 30% finished. Once the construction is completed, several domestic flights from the Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA will be transferred to Sangli. This is one of the solutions the government sees to address the problem of flight congestion in NAIA. As of now, the aviation sector has yet to identify the number of aircraft and routes to be transferred to Sangli Airport.
What we will do is we will do a careful study. Of course, we would really support the government on decongesting the airport, our airport traffic.
I think the first priority is really to ensure that the basket of solutions are supported, that when Sangli is built, that we will add flights there.
Sangli Point used to serve as the United States Naval Station and military base. Eventually, the Philippine Navy and Air Force use it as well as some of NAIA's private aircraft. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
This just in, Senator-elect Bongo confirms Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol has asked President Rodrigo Duterte to relieve him from his post. However, the chief executive has yet to act on it. Incoming Senator Go says Secretary Piñol is willing to be reassigned to other government agencies such as the Mindanao Development Authority. Senator Go adds that Piñol's decision might have something to do with the problems regarding the rice self-sufficiency program of the department. Senator Go read the letter of Secretary Piñol addressed to President Duterte.
The best interest of Department of Agriculture and its stakeholders in mind, may I request that I be relieved from my present position as Secretary of Agriculture and reassigned to whichever agency you believe I would be effective, including the Mindanao Development Authority or MINDA.
The speakership race in the lower house of Congress continues. Who are in the lead? Find out as Grace Casan reports.
Velasco, Romualdez, and Cayetano are among the speaker aspirants. They are all seen attending President Rodrigo Duterte's affairs as well as those of the presidential sons and daughter. Taguig City Representative-elect Alan Peter Cayetano has a long-time close relationship with the president. He even ran for vice presidency with President Duterte in the 2016 elections, but he lost. The chief executive appointed him as Foreign Affairs Secretary, but he later on resigned to run for a seat in the lower house as Taguig City Representative. He claims President has asked him to run to be the House Speaker.
As I told you from the start, hindi naman ako magre-resign sa DFA na walang plano, na wala kaming napag-usapan.
The name of later Representative-elect Martin Romualdez surfaced when hugpong ng pagbabago chairperson Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio introduced him as Speaker in one of their campaign rallies. Romualdez was also seen meeting the presidential sons and daughter. Last night, he met with the president to discuss his plans should he be chosen to be the House Speaker. Meanwhile, Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco seems to be leading the race after the administration party Partido Demokratikong Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan, more commonly known as PDP Laban, endorsed him to be the next House Speaker. Velasco was with Inday Sara during the campaign and in some other occasions. However, Davao del Norte Representative Pantaleon Alvarez, the fourth contender for House Speakership, seems to be not included on the list as of today. He was ousted as House Speaker on the day of the President's State of the Nation address on 2018 after saying negative comments on the President. He was replaced by Pampanga Representative Gloria Arroyo. Reports say Mayor Sara was behind the Alvarez ouster. Now that the congressmen will be choosing their leader soon, is Inday Sara still the key in choosing the next House Speaker? Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The 2022 presidential race is fast approaching, and some personalities are now posturing for the upcoming elections. Names are now emerging of possibly dreaming to reach the highest position in the Filipino land. Nel Marie Buhok will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte is now halfway his 6-year term. With the year 2022 almost around the corner, several politicians and personalities are preparing to posture themselves for the presidential elections. One of them is Senator Cynthia Villar. The lady senator dominated the 2019 midterm elections. It can be noted that President Rodrigo Duterte has expressed his support to the Villar family for a run for presidency.
One of the factors kung bakit ako umayag si Speaker. Kaya kung may presidente na suportahan ko, si Speaker.
Senator Cynthia Villar thanks President Duterte for the confidence, saying 2022 is so far away to think about. A name President Duterte mentioned during his first State of the Nation address was that of Senator Vicente Soto III.
You can have a president, you can elect. Maybe Tito Soto would be the lucky guy at the time.
On the roster of lawmakers in the upper house of Congress, Senator Panfilo Lacson is also emerging to become a possible contender in 2022. On a Twitter post, however, he refutes the accusation he is posturing for the 2022 presidential race. The issue emerged due to his active participations in issues in the country while posting his reactions via his social media accounts. But he clarifies that he is not closing his door for this opportunity. It can be noted that Lacson ran in 2004 but lost to former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. President Duterte has also teased that Senator Richard Gordon may become the next Philippine president.
We have to give it to President Gordon. I have to get used to it. I'm sorry, Mr. President. It's only about a few more years and he's one guy who every time he goes out of the country, he buys a leather jacket because I ride the motor.
Presidential daughter and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio is also a possible contender to continue her father's legacy. But she has clarified she has no plans yet on the 2022 presidential race, adding that she wants to focus on her job as the city mayor. Meanwhile, Vice President Leni Robredo is keeping her options open for 2022. For the Vice President, everything is possible. She believes it's not something planned and think it's destined to become the President of the Philippines. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The TNVS community takes a step to have their sentiments heard by the Duterte administration. April Senedoza will tell us why.
The Transport Network Vehicle Service, or TNVS community, has appealed to President Rodrigo Duterte and Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade to act swiftly on their issues concerning the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB. In a press conference on Thursday, the group read the letter addressed to the two officials, dated June 24. The community says the process of acquiring Provisional Authority, or PA, and Certificate of Public Convenience, or CPC, from the LTFRB is getting harder. This is also not in accordance with the Duterte administration's Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act.
Gustuhin man po namin na ayusin ang aming mga papeles para mapagkakitaan o mapaghanap buhay na walang pangamba. Ngunit ginigipit po kami ng LTFRB at sadyang pinahihirapan na makakuha ng PA at CPC.
Pahirap yung requirements na hiningi sa amin na wala naman noon 4 years ago.
The group further says thousands of TNVS accounts with Grab Philippines had been deactivated due to LTFRB's deadline. Following this, the group asked to give amnesty to 8,000 deactivated TNVS drivers. The group claims that the LTFRB says hatchback vehicles are not safe, so they didn't issue CPC or renew their PA. Moreover, they also appealed to provide beta tests for hatchback drivers, like what the LTFRB did to Angkas. Aside from difficult requirements, hearings concerning their applications have been delayed because the LTFRB doesn't abide with the schedule they give. LTFRB Chairman Martin Delgado III, meanwhile, has yet to respond on the matter. Transportation Secretary Tugade says they will look into the TNVS community's appeal.
Kung tama o hindi yung redress of grievances, the future will tell. Kung sa aming pamunuan, instruksyones ko sa LTFRB na una, i-fast track lahat ng prangkisa, hindi lang in relation to TNVS, but in relation to the wholeness of franchise that has to be issued and has to be released.
The group meanwhile clarifies it will not hold protest actions, but will discuss legal actions in the next coming days. April Senedoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The mobile number portability is now a law. This will give subscribers the freedom to transfer to another service provider without changing their numbers. But did you know that not all Filipinos are qualified to benefit from the new law? Monokson explains why.
The Mobile Number Portability Act will be in full implementation after 6 months for telephone companies to adjust their systems based on the implementing rules and regulations of the law. Under the law, a subscriber can transfer to another network without changing their cell phone numbers. There's no need to fill out documents. You just need to tell your service provider you will transfer. They shall give you a unique subscriber code as proof that you are the owner of the number.
Yung unique subscriber code, binibigay yan to identify na yung number na yan ay ikaw talaga ang nabigyan ng pagkakataon para gamitin mo yung number na yan.
6 months from now, Filipinos will benefit from the new law. But did you know that not all Filipinos are qualified to transfer to another service provider? Here are some of the limitations that the public must understand. First, a subscriber will not be allowed to transfer if he or she has an outstanding balance with the current network. A subscriber must settle this first before he or she can be allowed to transfer. Second, if the request for the transfer of assignment of the mobile number is under process. Third, if the porting of the mobile number has been prohibited by a court order, by law, or rules and regulations issued by the National Telecommunications Commission or NTC.
Yung cause of rejection kasi is hindi ikaw ang may-ari yung number na yan. Kasi kung may court order, court decision na tinatanggal sa iyo yun, natural, i-reject din po yan.
Fourth, if the application is still within 60 calendar days from the date of activation of the ported number. Fifth, if your mobile number is part of a bundled service. For instance, a family bundled promo wherein all members of the family is under one application. The solution for this is to unbundle the service application with your service provider. 6. If the mobile number to be ported is the principal contact number in an account with multiple numbers. Example of this is a cell phone issued by the company to its employees. This can be solved by letting the owner of the principal number apply for transfer. And last, if the applicant's invalid unique subscriber code or USC does not match the applicant's mobile number. The NTC says that with the law, network providers will improve their services because of the competition to win subscribers. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Good news to all the students as the Department of Transportation offers free rides on MRT3, LRT2, and the Philippine National Railways or PNR beginning July 1. Joan Nano tells us why.
Biruin mo naman kung libre yung pamasahe. Yung gagastusin mo sa pamasahe, pwede nang dagdag sa baon ng estudyante. Pwede nang dagdag sa panggastos sa paaralan at sa kanilang paghahanap ng karunungan. Kaya sabi namin, ito'y malaking bagay.
As part of Department of Transportation or DOTR's Puso at Malasakit program, Secretary Arthur Tugade announces they are giving away free rides on MRT3, LRT2, and the Philippine National Railways or PNR. Beginning July 1, all students from nursery to college level will be entitled to these benefits. Free rides for students on Metro Rail Transit or MRT3 will run from 5 up to 6:30 in the morning and from 3 to 4:30 in the afternoon. While for those who are taking LRT2 with stations from Santolan to Recto, the free rides will jumpstart as early as 4:30 to 6 a.m. and in the afternoon from 3 o'clock to 4:30 p.m. On the PNR, students will have free rides from 5 to 6 a.m. and from 3 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Students just have to present their school IDs at respective malasakit booths in every train stations when the program takes effect. But eventually, they will have to apply for a free ride ID. They just have to visit the DOTR MRT3 or LRT2's website, fill out a form, and claim their IDs at any malasakit booths. If students need to travel via airports or seaports in the country, they will be exempted from paying terminal fees. The Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines or CAAP will impose the exemption beginning August 1. While free terminal fees at seaports, this will become effective starting July 16. Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Clark, Pampanga.
Meanwhile, environmental groups in Canada have criticized their country's exportation of recyclable waste to less developed countries such as the Philippines. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
It is an insult for Canada that a first world country has no capacity to recycle or manage its own waste. This is the argument of Vito Buonsante, the plastics program manager of the group Environmental Defense on Canada's shipping of waste.
When the Canadians discovered that Canada sends its waste to the Philippines, to Malaysia, to China, most of the people were very outraged. They were ashamed that the developed country, rich country, is not able to deal with its own problem.
It's crazy to me that the Canadians are dutifully washing out their peanut butter jars and scrubbing their plastics, putting them in their blue box with the thought that these are going to be recycled, and then only to find that these are being shipped halfway around the world and creating environmental policies and environmental problems in other countries.
Canadian environmental groups also go against the incineration of the waste shipped back to Vancouver.
It's not the best solution, incineration, because incineration is something that so burning waste is not ideal because there's harmful emissions coming from it.
The groups continue to call on the Canadian government to improve their system on garbage recycling. For them, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's administration must also invest in constructing facilities that will contribute in preventing the exportation of waste.
It's quite unacceptable that a developed country like Canada is not able to take care of its own waste.
According to government agency Environment Canada, MV Bavaria, the ship that ferries 69 containers of Canada's waste exported to the Philippines is expected to arrive at the port of Vancouver on June 29th. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
And for the news abroad, here's Kath de Maraos reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. Kath, good evening.
Good evening, William. Talented grannies are promoting their city in a funk-filled way as Japan hosts its first G20 summit. This report will tell us why.
Welcome to Osaka, Oba-chan!
This is Oba-chan. They're a Japanese idol group made of dancing, singing, and rapping grannies. Oba-chan literally means grandma. This week, the group's on a mission to welcome the world to their city.
Oba, 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 get power! Oba, 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 get up pa! Oba, 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 Oba pa! Oba, 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 too hot!
Osaka is the site for this year's G20 summit, and it's being held in Japan for the first time. Oba-chan wants to make their best impression on their visitors.
Lots of people from around the world will be here for the G20, including Americans. And that's why we produced an English song. We would love for our performance to spread abroad.
Their newest song, called Oba Funk Osaka, has gone viral with over 75,000 views. But recording it was a challenge. Most of the members, who are in their 60s and 70s, don't speak English at all.
Our producer wrote down the pronunciations, and we just read them exactly the way they're written. I think we did really well.
And whether or not they'll reach audiences around the world, Oba-chan's already charmed a lot of local fans.
The group is so much fun. I always get energy from them. It makes me smile naturally when I watch them. I watch them to be recognized more and show Osaka as an attractive city.
The G20 summit is held from Friday to Saturday.
Osaka! Oh my God!
In Turkey, dramatic CCTV footage shows the moment a 2-year-old girl was caught as she fell from an apartment window in Turkey. The Syrian toddler Doha Muhammad was caught by 17-year-old Algerian immigrant Feuzi Zabat, who noticed she was about to fall from the window of her home in the Fatih district of Istanbul. Muhammad survived the accident without any injuries. According to local media, the toddler approached the open window of the apartment while her mother was cooking in the kitchen. Muhammad's family has hailed Zabat as a hero and rewarded him 200 Turkish liras. Jovic Burmas, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Kath de Maraos, reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. Korean fans around the world were left heartbroken following the news that South Korean actors Song Hye-kyo and Song Joong-ki are splitting up. Kath de Maraos will tell us why.
South Korean superstar Song Hye-kyo and Song Joong-ki surprised the world when they went to denying dating rumors to announcing their wedding. But less than 2 years after their fairy tale marriage, the elusive couple decided to split up, shocking fans across the world. The co-stars plan to seek a divorce due to personality differences. Song Joong-ki, 33, said in a statement issued by his lawyer that they have begun the arbitration process for the divorce, adding they both hope to settle it in a smooth process. Song Hye-kyo, 37, agency said in a statement that the two are going through the divorce process due to differences in personality. Earlier this year, South Korean media had speculated that the Song couple, as they are most popularly known, were going through a possible divorce as Song Hye-kyo had appeared in public without her wedding ring. Meanwhile, Filipino fans rushed to social media to mourn the breakup of what some called the perfect couple. Some fans post sobbing gifs after reading and knowing about the sad news. Some people say they do not believe in true love anymore. And some are sad because they won't be expecting a Song baby. The Song couple, as they were dubbed by the media, married on October 31st, 2017 in an intimate outdoor ceremony at Yongbin-kwan, a Korean-style banquet annex to the Shilla Hotel in Seoul. The couple met while filming the 2016 hit drama series Descendants of the Sun, in which they played a soldier and doctor who fall in love. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this June 27, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar and Angelo Castro III, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
Di gagawin ng China na pumasok doon. So in other words, ang sagot niya ron, it is not necessary to prevent them from fishing because they will not do that. In other words, why should I prevent somebody to do something when he is not going to do that?
Pero ng mga panukala at mga nagpo-propose sa private sector, no, na gawing source of water supply ng Metro Manila ang Laguna de Bay. Ito ay 90,000 hectares, may average depth na 2.5. At ito ay ang catch basin ng lahat ng mga dumadaloy sa watershed dito sa paligid.
Sabi ng Pangulo, November, di habulin natin na November. And knowing me, sa tingin mo, ano deadline ko?
September.
Kita mo, September. No, you know me. Pinapa-advance ko.
As I told you from the start, hindi naman ako magre-resign sa DFA na walang plano, na wala kaming pag-usapan.
Biruin mo naman kung libre yung pamasahe. Yung gagastusin mo sa pamasahe, pwede nang dagdag sa baon ng estudyante. Pwede nang dagdag sa panggastos sa paaralan at sa kanilang paghahanap ng karunungan. Kaya sabi namin, ito'y malaking bagay.